Good evening and welcome to the Villanova Baseball Stadium here at Plymouth Township for tonight's Perky Valley Twilight League semifinal matchup between the Collegeville White Sox and the Philadelphia Dawgs. I'm Ryan Straub, joined here with Tyson Maddox and Ryan Cuny. Guys, how are you feeling about this game today?
Feeling pretty good. I mean, it's going to be an interesting game. Obviously, one thing we noted is that Collegeville has the least runs for, as opposed to the Dawgs, who have the most run for. And, of course, the pitcher today for the White Sox, as you can see, Pat Carney, the 4.07 ERA and seems like a pitch-to-contact type of pitcher. So it'll be interesting to see how they combat with the explosive offense of the Dawgs.
Yeah, Ryan, tell us a little bit about number 11, Pat Carney, getting the ball today for Collegeville.
Yeah, he's a great pitcher. Had a little bit of a rough go at it his last start. Overall this season, he's got 32.2 innings pitched, 44 hits, 24 runs allowed. 19 of them are going down as earned runs. The impressive stat here, he's only got 5 walks on the season. In addition to 25 strikeouts, he's rocking a 4.07 ERA. But last game, as I mentioned, he struggled. 10 hits, 7 runs, only 6 strikeouts. So a real tough go for Carney yesterday. We'll see how he bounces back.
We get ready for first pitch here in Plymouth Township. Outside for ball one between the second-seeded White Sox and the third-seeded Dawgs.
And something to be noted here, it is brutally hot here at Villanova Ballpark.
So the 1-0 is outside. Number 97, Sam Junker, leading off for the Dawgs. 344 average on the year with 11 hits, 6 RBIs, 11 runs, and a team-leading 6 stolen bases. That 2-0 just a bit outside.
Say 3-0. Say tough going so far.
3-0 pitch. In there for a called strike. Carney's first of the night.
You got to imagine also Collegeville being a little bit annoyed today, not getting the first seed due to Lansdale having a tie instead of a finished game. Only reason they're in the second seed right now.
As Junker draws the leadoff walk to start this ball game. Carney trying to find the outside corner in that at bat. Home plate umpire not having it so far.
And considering that Junker seems to be very fast, not the best person to have walk for their first at bat.
Yeah, uncharacteristic too. No walks in his last game, despite the train wreck that it was. That's just his 6th walk of the season.
That first pitch is bunted by Kevin Schmidt. It's a nice play by the third baseman, Luzens. It'll be a sacrifice bunt for Kevin Schmidt. 1 away here. Yeah, and to your point, Ryan, we kind of based our opening around Carney and how he has done very well in not putting guys on base this year. Like you said, the 5 walks in almost 33 innings pitched. He finds himself quickly with a runner in scoring position here in the top of the first.
Also gets a free out as well, so maybe that'll help him, lock in, find the zone a little bit.
Yeah, nice play over there at third by Luzens to at least make sure they get an out.
Give me one tough thing about this field. With the turf infield, you really are going to have to pull back when you want to bunt down the line, as opposed to grass slowing it down for you.
1-0 pitch to Garrett Mathias in there for a called strike.
Yeah, that free out that we mentioned a little bit earlier, I still like that decision from Philadelphia. Advancing the base runner, we mentioned the speed of Junker. He can do a whole lot of damage with just 1 out.
1-1. Inside, that'll make it 2-1.
The only thing I might question with that decision was that besides 3-0, you threw basically 4 balls in a row. Maybe you give your 2-batter a shot, let him see a strike first.
That's a good point.
And then maybe go for it. But because, again, now we're on another 3-1 count. So you could theoretically, if you had the second batter, just watch some stuff. Could have 2 guys on, no outs right now. But still definitely not a bad decision whatsoever.
As that 3-1 is way inside. Another walk for Carney.
Definitely not something we expected here, especially not in the first frame. As we see now Gorla, the big power hitter, come up to bat.
Yeah, say 273 average for Gorla. But a slugging of 364. Interesting sort of 4-hitter.
Runners go. The throw down to second base is in time. So Matthias caught stealing. Nice throw there behind the plate from Kearns. That'll be the second out of this first inning.
He got Matthias by a country mile. That might be a warning from Kearns. Don't you dare take second on me the rest of the game. He was all over that.
The only thing with that for Philadelphia is, again, you lose another out. Obviously, you did move Junker over, but no chance for a sacrifice, anything of the sorts.
That pitch outside, that'll make it 2-0. Carney struggling to find the zone here in the first frame, as you mentioned, Ryan. Trying to find that outside corner. He's not getting the calls. 2-0 swung on and missed. Yep, Gorla hitting .273 on the year, as Tyson mentioned. 6 hits, 6 RBI, 7 runs scored. Big spot here in this first inning of this semifinal matchup. 2-1, chopped. It's going to be fielded by the pitcher Carney, and he fires in time for the out.
Gonna leave Junker stranded there. Nice way to recover there from Carney.
Yeah, that ball was hit a lot softer off the bat than I anticipated. I thought it was going to get by Carney on the mound, but he was able to go to his right and make a nice play for the third out.
And also, starting off not too hot, only throwing 15 pitches, however, so able to recover very, very well, and will be able to be used for a long time if he keeps going like this for this game.
So definitely a nice job by Carney there to get out of that situation. Huge caught stealing by Kearns there to pick up that second out.
Yeah, so as we get a replay here of this play that Carney made. I think even if he misses it, I imagine the third base or shortstop's gonna get that thrown over. It'd be a close play, but I'd probably give advantage to them.
Yeah, and a nice job there. As soon as he did field that ball, too, he did a nice job of getting his feet set, getting his balance, getting his legs under him to make a nice, strong throw.
Says now we have Ben Junker as opposed to the other Junker who we just saw hit, that being Sam Junker. 2.03 ERA for him. Only 6 earned runs this whole year in 6 games played. So
Quite a few less innings pitched as well. Almost 10 less, over 10 less innings pitched. So a little bit of a fresher arm. More walks statistically. He's got 12 and 21 strikeouts. So this is going to be an interesting pitcher's duel here.
I'm just going off of the fact that he's only started one game. Sort of imagine he's been a reliever or a closer, at least for the most part. Hence, generally they can have low ERA, high walks. But
Yeah.
clearly they thought, all right, we're going to start him here today.
Sometimes you get a guy who is your closer and you want him in the big moments. He's a big moment kind of guy. Ben Junker here in the semifinals might just be that for the Dirt Dogs.
So we start the bottom of the first. Kyle Feaster to lead off for the White Sox. First pitch swinging to the third baseman, Kress. Nice, easy hop for him. Wide throw. And it's a nice play at first base over there by Matthias.
Yeah, that's a tough one when you're trying to go to your left, but of course you can't go too far on the line. You're going to get hit by the runner. So great stretch there from him. And of course, sort of to reach around to catch the ball, not getting interference or anything like that.
So 1 pitch, 1 out to start Ben Junker's outing. Austin Edgett will be the batter. First pitch to him is outside. Edgett hitting .207 on the year with 6 hits, 5 RBIs, 7 runs scored.
Yeah, 207 average. A little surprised when you see him so high, but he has a 368 on base percentage, basically sort of like a Schwarber in a way, although not as many home runs as you can imagine.
Yeah, not many guys can hit as many home runs as Kyle Schwarber. 2-1. That'll be low. So hitters count here for Edgett. 1 away, bottom of the first inning. pitch. Skied, left field. It'll get out of play.
Yeah, I think with this heat, it's going to be good for hitters to be a bit more patient than maybe they want to be, just to squeeze out more pitches from each pitcher during their at-bats. They get to sit down, take a break more than the pitchers might, in between innings. So I would certainly keep a smaller zone to start, work your way out as the game continues.
So that full count, Austin Edgett able to draw the one-out walk.
That's big with Lancelotti coming to the plate. 3 home runs on the year. Speedy guy, powerful swing. Could do a whole lot of damage at the plate.
Yeah, you mentioned it, 306 average, 22 hits, 14 RBIs. Leads the team also with 21 runs scored. It's definitely what you want out of your 3-hitter. 0-1. Down and out.
These batters really patient here on both sides, making the pitchers work for it. It's going to be a struggle and a grind for both teams. So we've been talking about the heat.
I'm sure that's one Lancelotti won't take back there, but I can't say, at least for Philadelphia, I've not personally seen them yet, but I can say for the White Sox, usually they have some struggles with the bullpen, so it makes sense for the Dirt Dogs. Hey, maybe you won't score some runs, but if you get them to throw 20 pitches each inning, switch them out for the bullpen, then you can do something.
1-2 is fouled back.
Just looking into the dugout of the Dirt Dogs, it doesn't look like they have a whole lot of guys could come in relief. Definitely a smaller supporting cast than Collegeville. So their bullpen might not be quite so full either.
So explaining a closer and to start.
1-2 is way upstairs.
That could be the advantage for Collegeville as well, just because if he's someone who doesn't pitch a lot of innings, then going deep will feel uncomfortable for him.
Runner goes. The throw is not in time from Schmidt. It was a wide throw, but I don't think it would have been in time to begin with.
Absolutely not. He was going to be safe by a mile, and certainly that's going to be valuable information for Feaster, Edgett, Lancelotti, Luzins, the guys who can steal. They see, hey, all right, got a catcher here. Maybe not the best arm. Going to have to take advantage of that.
3-2, way inside. That'll draw the one-out walk, put runners on first and second.
And I say also for Ben Junker, that's going to be very tough. Obviously, he probably knew that going in, but it's so nice having a catcher who can throw out guys, so that way if you walk someone, you're like, all right, he's either going to stay at first or my guy's going to throw him out. I don't have to worry. Now, anytime someone gets on base, unless it's, Clark or Jensen who, very much don't steal, he's going to have to worry about that base runner constantly.
Runners on first and second for Cody Clark. First pitch to him is inside. So similar situation as we saw in the top of the first inning. First and second, one out for the 4-hitter. We'll see if Collegeville can take advantage of it, unlike the Dirt Dogs. 1-0 inside.
And I think the way Collegeville will take advantage is not overthink it. He's throwing a lot of balls very much out of the zone. Let him throw himself out of the game. You don't need to give him free outs if you don't need them.
Junker's really struggling to find the zone here. Last few pitches were in towards the hands or head of the batter. Seems like it's just slipping out of his hand. Got to find the control here in the first.
So that 3-0 catches the plate. That'll make it 3-1.
And sort of indicator of the heat, especially for a sidearm guy, that's sort of exactly what you see, either really inside to righties or super, super outside if they don't have it.
So that 3-1 is lined right field. Kehoe settles under and makes the catch. Runner tags from second. Edgett will advance to third. It'll be a sacrifice fly out for Cody Clark.
Interesting there from Edgett, sort of not necessarily second guessing, but sort of trying to create the illusion that he wasn't going to tag. I don't know if it fully worked or if right fielder there wasn't sort of set up and couldn't or didn't have a chance to throw him out, but it felt certainly like he was trying to trick them, say, hey, I'm not going to tag up, I'm not going to do anything, and got the free base.
Yeah, I think that was deep enough to where I don't think Edgett would have had any problem tagging up anyway.
Now we're going to see the DH, Colin Jensen, batting a very respectable .338. He's got 12 hits on the year, accompanied by 1 home run, 8 RBIs. Just looking to get a board here, add to his 22-hit total.
First pitch to him is right down the chute for strike one. That's definitely better from Junker. I think that might be his first pitch strike of the inning. It's definitely very important that he gets out early in these counts and gets ahead. Runner goes from first. That's going to be an easy stolen base for Lancelotti.
And I think even if it wasn't in the dirt Dawgs aren't going to take the bait on that one. You have 2 outs. No need to make it more complicated than it needs to be and risk giving up a run.
Big spot here early in this game. The 1-1 on the ground to the shortstop, Levin. Double clutches. He's up with it and fires in time. Ben Junker able to get out of a second and third jam.
22-pitch inning for him, so certainly not the start he probably wants, but at the same time, like you said, able to get out of that jam, and hopefully with that progress, we'll be able to do better next inning.
So we'll go to the top of the second here on the Sports Fan Base Network. Score is 0-0. Stick around.
Hi, I'm Tommy Green, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. When I was in high school, it was very important to me to show scouts what I could do. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you're a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY-EASY.
Welcome back here for the top of the second inning on the Sports Fan Base Network. Number 51, Aiden Brett Schneider, set to lead off the inning for the Dirt Dogs.
Brett Schneider hitting a .265 batting average, 13 hits on the year. His most previous game, he went 1 for 3 with a walk. Certainly looking to get this inning going quickly here.
The first pitch to him is outside for ball 1. Yeah, Brett Schneider, 17 runs scored as well in the season. That's definitely up towards the top on this Dirt Dog team. 1-0 inside. Guys, I don't know about you, but I'm sensing a very, very tight strike zone from the home plate umpire tonight. Neither of these pitchers are getting any of those calls on the corners.
I mean, that's what happens when you sort of start off with a lot of balls, as you get a foul ball there. You don't throw a lot of first pitch strikes, they will shrink it on you. So it's really a good point when you pointed out how for Junker, that was his first pitch strike. It was like, yes, he will now get a widening of the zone maybe compared to Carney, who's still finding it right now.
2-1 swung on, hit foul.
And to that previous point, this is semifinal baseball here. Umpires demanding nothing but the best of the best. They're not going to let any of that weak stuff slide. They're on their game, so should the pitchers.
2-2. Outside. Yeah, Collegeville, the 2 seed, the Dirt Dogs, the 3 seed. Tomorrow's other semifinal matchup will feature the number 1 seed Lansdale Tigers and the 5 seed Conshohocken Commodores. Is that 3-2 swung hit off of Brett Schneider, and he's in some pain.
Yeah, I think
That catch him in the
it hit him where the sun don't shine, unfortunately, and clearly not wearing a cup, so he's in a lot of pain right now.
Yeah, it's going to take some time to get over. As a former lacrosse goalie, I can sympathize with his pain. Hopefully it clears up soon.
The only issue is usually on a foul ball, you can add up to 10 miles an hour compared to whatever the pitcher was throwing. So, you know, realistically, getting hit by the pitcher would actually be better than him fouling it off of himself, unfortunately.
So Brett Schneider going to take a moment here, see if he can walk some of that pain off. But as I was mentioning, these 2 teams fighting for a right to play in the Perky Valley League Finals next week. The winner of this game will face either the Lansdale Tigers or the Conshohocken Commodores.
We talked about it early in the broadcast, but how crucial was that tie that ultimately sent Collegeville to the 2 seed instead of the 1 seed?
Right.
Yeah, instead of playing the 5 seed, weakest team in the playoffs, now they've got to face off against a very, very good Dirt Dogs team. And we said it, they scored the most runs in the league. That's not someone you want to play in a semifinal matchup.
3-2 to Brett Schneider. Down for ball 4. He draws a leadoff walk.
I think you might ask for a designated runner just for this time around.
Yeah, he's still walking gingerly down to first base. Definitely still in some pain.
Yeah, I think he's just excited that he can walk to first base instead of needing to full-on sprint.
Yeah.
Looks like he's going to stay on the bag, though.
Now, you say Conshohocken, quote-unquote, weakest team, but we've seen the majors whenever a team gets a bye. For some reason, they seem to do worse, so maybe we'll see that happen again tomorrow.
That's
Yeah,
a fair
so
point.
Lansdale finishing 14-9-1, whereas Collegeville finished 14-10. So essentially Lansdale gets the 1 seed because they have a tie instead of that 10th loss. As that pitch is lined down the third base line, it'll get into left field for a base hit. Hutchinson able to get it in. It'll be a single for Jackson Kehoe.
It's a great hit down the line there, and again, as long as you hit it hard and on the ground here, a lot's going to poke through just because of that turf infield. I was also asking, did Lansdale tie with Conshohocken? I know Conshohocken has some ties, too.
Conshohocken has 2 ties, and I want to say the Trooper Tribe also have 2 ties. So it was either against Conshohocken or the Trooper Tribe.
This thing, Lansdale can thank Conshohocken, like, hey, thanks for giving us the first seed, guys, with this tie.
Ethan Crest, the batter, runners on first and second, nobody out. That first pitch is flied center field. And it's going to be the shortstop, Lancelotti, who makes the catch. A big first out of this inning for Pat Carney.
Huge, especially to get it with just 1 pitch after the carnage that we've seen thus far in this frame. He's got to be breathing a sigh of relief just to get 1 down.
I think he's also feeling a sigh of relief, even though I thought that maybe that would go a little bit further. That seemed almost like it could have gone sort of just between everyone, somehow fall, even though it should have been an easy pop fly catch. You know, those just bloopers that hit a little too hard, so I'm sure he's like, oh, good, I didn't give up one of those, because I know that's the worst feeling as a pitcher when you lose on that stuff.
Chase Fulford, the batter, chops it to the right side. Nice play by Carney. He's just going to take it to the bag himself for the second out.
Again, another familiar sight of 2 batters in scoring position, or 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs. It was gonna get something out of it first.
Yeah, it's a big point going into this game. We've mentioned already a few times the Dirt Dogs the most runs scored in the league. Collegeville the least runs against. So who's going to crack first?
Shortstop Levin up to bat now. Levin with 10 hits on the year with a 256 batting average. He's got 3 RBIs. First pitch fouled off. But Levin certainly with an opportunity to add to that total here. Nobody wants to leave anyone stranded in scoring position, let alone 2 guys, as Tyson, you just mentioned.
The 0-1. Check swing. No swing, says the umpire. Nice job there by Levin.
Yeah,
to
that was
restrain himself a little bit. He definitely wanted to swing at it at first.
I honestly, it sort of tricked me a little bit. I was like, oh, that's going to be perfect outside corner, and then juts out. So I totally understood his temptation there to swing.
And of the 10 hits for Sean Levin, 3 of them are doubles, 2 of them are triples. So it looks like when he makes contact, he really finds a good placement in the field. Looking to drive home both of these runners.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Is that
Ryan,
good?
half of his 10 hits, extra base hits. Dirt Dogs could definitely use one of those here. Just looking at the alignment in the outfield for Collegeville, there's a massive gap in right center field.
Yep.
Right fielder Feaster hugging the line for sure. 1-2. Swung on and missed for strike 3. So another nice job by Pat Carney, able to get out of some trouble here in the second inning.
Yeah, high heater. I mean, everyone knows it. Everyone knows not to swing at it. But again, in these sort of pressure situations, especially when a guy doesn't feel like he's throwing too hard, it can just be really tempting to swing at that. And unfortunately, even though he held off of the pitch in the bottom corner, he could not hold off for that pitch there.
The escape artist Carney. So far, he's putting on a show here with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, pulling a Houdini through these
Yeah.
first 2.
Magical, but you saw the frustration on Levin. He was just staring at his bat. He thought he had every piece of it. Swung on that ball with some aggression.
So that's 4 runners left on for Dirt Dog. 6 total so far in this game. So it really does feel like, oh, the scoring's almost there. Someone has to break that dam open. And it feels like whoever does it first is going to have a huge advantage in this game.
Yeah, 'cause it's not like these guys are unable to make contact with these pitchers. Both teams have been kind of all over these pitches and very easily getting on board with walks and whatnot. But to your point, it's just going to take one, and the dam's going to be broken. But with this heat, it's going to be who slips up first, really. I think a great advantage for Collegeville is their catcher, Kearns. If you have a guy who you know you can't steal on, we were talking about a little bit earlier, especially in comparison to Schmidt, who led up 1 stolen base and conceded the other one. You could really get some momentum working off of those stolen bases, and Kearns just not going to allow that to happen.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. The biggest play of the game so far was that caught stealing in the top of the first. Kearns getting Matthias at second base for that second out. A double steal by the Dirt Dogs. Kearns was able to throw out one of them.
And now we'll see Kearns on the offensive end.
First pitch to him is lined right at the shortstop. Levin is able to make the catch for out number 1.
Wow, I can actually see where the bat broke. There's a little white line on it. I thought I heard it just because something sounded off. But
Yeah, I definitely didn't hear it.
I think, yeah, when someone holds it like that, it's broken. That thing is done.
So 1 pitch, 1 out for Ben Junker. Mike Hutchinson, the batter. First pitch to him in there for a called strike.
Just to be fair, I feel like Junker, that is sort of how he got his first out, was 1 pitch, 1 out, and then when there was no contact, that's where he would sort of throw all of his walks.
He's quickly out to an 0-2 count here against Mike Hutchinson. Into the windup. The pitch. Just off the outside corner. Might be a little bit low, too.
Yeah, Hutchinson hitting 288 so far this season.
1-2. Right back to Junker. Drops it, but is able to pick it up and recover. Underhand toss to first for out number 2.
It's a very nonchalant, laissez-faire out there. For a half a second there, I thought Hutchinson might beat out that mishandled ball by Junker.
See, I don't even know if I would call it mishandle. You might have, maybe he thought it was too easy. He wanted to give himself more of a challenge.
Yeah, that could be.
On that one.
Could be the case.
So 2 away here for Cole Luzens. First pitch to him in there for a called strike.
So one thing in particular with Luzens, hitting 267, mostly hitting singles so far this year. However, does have 1 home run, and I believe we 3 saw it.
Yes, we did.
In this field.
It was right here at this field a couple weeks ago against Conchi. Fly ball to left, pretty much dead left field.
Yeah,
he got out.
Hit it right over the 42 over there in left field. Retired numbers.
That pitch swung on and missed. Yeah, and to hit it out of this ballpark is definitely no small feat. See 405 to dead center, 330 down both lines. This is a major league ballpark sized stadium. 2-2. It's fouled off.
And initially starting this game off, I thought Luzens would be at third base, but looking over, it was actually Brett Schneider. Or not Brett Schneider, I apologize. Jensen, who was listed as the DH, but he's settled up at third base, so I believe that Luzens is in the DH spot right now.
Interesting.
3-2 pitch. Outside for ball 4. Luzens able to draw the 2-out walk.
Sort of like I said, if they're not making contact for, say, Junker right now, feels as though that's when Junker sort of loses the zone on his own, get himself into trouble.
If I'm Collegeville right now, I'm going to force Junker to pitch strikes. I'm not really going to be swinging anything unless it's right down broad like that one.
Yeah, 0-1. Now the count to Mark McCouch.
See, Junker does have a little bit of tail. Breaks sort of inside 2 right-handed hitters, so I'm sure that looks great. But again, you have to account for that, and it's tough with especially wood bats where, as we saw with Kearns, 1 wrong move and immediately broken bat.
So 1-1 the count here. 2 outs. Runner on first. Bottom of the second. The pitch. In there for a called strike.
And now we're looking at Mark McCouch batting .267, 8 hits, 5 RBIs on the year. Last game he went 1 for 3, had 2 strikeouts. Certainly looking to avoid that fate here.
As that pitch is in there for a called strike 3, right on cue, CUNY.
He disagrees vehemently, and that one definitely was on the border, a little outside, but the umpire, who's been stingy all day, he's not gonna send McCouch to first after that.
And also, you have to give a good shout out there to Schmidt. Good framing by him, because I definitely agree. It was a little bit outside, but just only a little bit, so when he framed it back into the zone, made it an easy call for the umpire there.
So a solid inning there for Ben Junker. We'll go to the top of the third. Still scoreless between the Dirt Dogs and the White Sox.
Hi, I'm Marty Bystrom, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. In my experience in Major League Baseball, I know how important it is for high school athletes to gain exposure. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you are a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY-EASY.
Welcome back here for the top of the third inning, Sports Fan Base Network. Semifinal matchup in the Perky Valley Twilight League, 0-0 between the Dirt Dogs and the White Sox. And we want to preface something before we start this inning. Collegeville, number 51, Colin Jensen at third base, as that first pitch is flied out to the infield. Lancelotti has a beat on it and makes the catch for out number 1. So number 51, Colin Jensen over there at third base. Our lineup card originally had Cole Luzzins at third base, but I think they flip-flopped. I think now Luzzins in the DH spot and Jensen at third base. So we've got that all sorted out. And another one pitch, one out. That might be our third of the ball game, guys. Second for Carney.
Yeah, that's huge, especially with that first inning. It was a little bit sloppy. Just able to grind his way back in terms of the pitch count.
So you're seeing him get into his mode now. Again, he seems like a pitch-to-contact guy, which we were a little bit worried about at the start of the game just because, again, Dirt Dawgs seems like a good hitting team as we see.
That ball is lined right center field. Edgett is able to make the catch.
But that is sort of the other part of pitch-to-contact is when you're having a good day, you're going to have stuff like the pop-out, the fly-out into center field that sort of can look scary at the beginning, but you can see your guy's going to get that. And so when you only have so many pitchers and you only have so many guys, getting those quick outs is so valuable.
Yeah, so 2 quick outs here, especially against this top of the Dirt Dogs lineup with Junker. Excuse me, Junker and Schmidt.
Yeah, and that's a shame not getting either of those guys on, especially when you got a guy like Garrett Mathias coming up. He's batting an astounding .442. So he really makes contact. It's a shame there's nobody on board. Furthermore, he's got a .571 on-base percentage, which is really critical.
Saying 5 home runs, too, so it's not like he can't hit the long balls either.
Yeah, he's spectacular in the 3 spot.
That pitch all in the outside corner for a called strike.
Yeah, an OPS of 1455.
Oh, man.
Not too bad. That's 1.455, not
That's
actually
not too
14,
shabby.
because that'd be insane.
Not too shabby indeed.
So
yeah, definitely to our point. Nice job by Carney there to get those two quick outs because Mathias also with 21 RBIs proving that he does damage with runners on. It's that 3-1 in there for a called strike. Not really sure what Mathias is complaining about.
Yeah, Mathias thought he had a walk. He kind of did that classic pushback with his rear end. So he thought that was enough to give him the walk. Sometimes catchers frame the pitches. Sometimes batters do the same thing, just in a slightly different way.
But Carney, like Junker, he has sort of that right to left tail, and so maybe out of the hands, Mathias thought, oh, that is a ball. Then it came back in at the last second, which can be called a strike, as we saw.
So the count will remain full here. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch in the dirt for ball 4. Mathias now finally able to draw the 2-out walk. Took him a couple extra pitches, but
yeah, no doubt about that one. That one was a little bit low, all but touching the plate as it passed it. Nice job by Kearns. I mean, not like it would have mattered if he couldn't get a handle on it, but still.
So 1 on, 2 outs for Joe Gorla. That first pitch is flied right field. Feaster going back, settles under it, and is able to make the catch.
I was going to say, for Carney pitching to Mathias, I actually liked sort of the idea with that sequence where it felt like they were really pitching around him. And he, to me, you know, as much as you want to go at a batter every time, you know, I'm sure they thought this with Barry Bonds. They now think about it with Shohei Ohtani or Aaron Judge. There can be one guy that you're like, look, I'm fine walking him. He can get on base. He's not going to do much damage stealing on me. And I'll just take that instead of him hitting another home run.
Yeah, batting in 3 spot, Garrett Mathias. Definitely not the speed demon that we see like Brett Schneider or Kress before him. Nonetheless, tough out to get against the big power hitter.
Yeah, and if you're Pat Carney and the Collegeville White Sox, that's definitely a welcoming sight. That was a pretty quick top of the third there. Obviously, had that unfortunate walk with 2 outs, but compared to what we saw in the first 2 innings where he ran into some trouble with runners on base, runners in scoring positions, a lot of high-pressure pitches in those first 2 innings. That was definitely a much more calmer and easier 3rd inning, I would say.
And certainly if you sort of go by the common thought, which is you don't want to line up to see you 3 times, you're going to need innings like that where you go, not necessarily 1, 2, 3, but only 4. That way you can maybe get through 4 innings and some change, maybe 5 innings if you decide to keep a guy in longer, and then you can have your reliever and your closer come in to seal the game.
And another thing, climate-wise, to keep an eye on throughout today, Collegeville has the better of the 2 dugouts. They are completely in the shade, so they get a break while they're at bat. The Dirt Dogs, on the other hand, are staring straight into the sun, and that's going to be a struggle as the game continues to progress in this hot, hot day. So we'll see how the stamina levels improve or decrease for either team.
We start at the bottom of the 3rd inning. Top of the lineup for Collegeville. Kyle Feaster sees that first pitch in for a called strike.
So I can say personally, when it comes to that dugout, I've played here a couple times before, and I can say it is definitely a challenge, and that's why people who consistently play here almost always pick the 3rd base line. I know usually home team you get first base, but certainly if I have to choose between sort of Normandy and what is going to be easier on my players, I'm going to pick what's easier on my players. And you just run out of energy so quickly sitting there trying to support your teammates while staring into the sun.
Feaster, a solid hitter in the leadoff spot. 9 of his 22 are extra base hits. 3 of those 22 are home runs. He's definitely a value guy as he has walked there.
Yeah, 5-pitch walk there to Feaster to start this bottom of the 3rd inning.
I'm going to say, interestingly, we're sort of seeing almost a parallel game, except for the 1 hit from the Dirt Dogs, where you see 5 or 6 in the first inning, then you see a couple less. You get back to the very top of the order, and I see again, we sort of get to see, all right, how are these guys going to deal with them this time?
First pitch to Austin, edge it down for ball 1. So we'll see if Ben Junker can find the zone here as he begins to face the heart of this Collegeville lineup. Lancelotti on deck. Cody Clark in the hole. That pitch is lined right field. Diving catch by Kehoe out in right field. Throws to first. Not in time.
Spectacular play by Kehoe out in right field. I thought when that ball was hit, it was almost certainly going to get down. It was a nice line drive, but a beautiful diving effort there. We'll take a look at the replay.
Say one thing I was hoping to be able to tell, you can sort of see it really just got beaten down by something. I can't tell if it was the wind. Maybe it was one of those sort of knuckle hits, and that's why it dropped, but that's certainly why you saw him go for that dive. He was ready to turn back. It looked like it was going to go over his right shoulder, and somehow just cuts down and left. So great play by him to be able to make up for that odd movement.
So we get our first pickoff attempt. Feaster back safely. So a spectacular diving catch out in right field by Jackson Kehoe. As Feaster might be a little bit banged up on that slide back in.
Maybe his shoulder. Sometimes that happens diving head first.
His shoulder,
Elbow potentially.
elbow, something.
Something on that right arm.
So we're going to get a stoppage here as the first baseman, Matthias, is running over to his Dirt Dog dugout. And Feaster looks a little bit upset, too, at something.
I think
Did he get spiked?
he did.
Yeah, I can see a cut and some blood on that right elbow.
Yeah, so I think that's why he was sort of complaining, because very rarely does a guy sort of get spiked on a pickoff. Usually it's just more, there's not enough movement for the feet to happen. So
Another thing it could be turf burn from that brown turf
yeah,
on the infield, simulating obviously the infield dirt. And it could be, the more that I look at it, it definitely does more look like a turf burn
yeah.
type of, like a carpet burn thing instead of getting spiked.
But you never want to see a player get hurt, but a turf burn is kind of the best of the scenarios here. At first when he got up, it looked like he was really, really in pain. Usually when a player spikes their helmet, that kind of is an indication of like, hey, something serious happened, and he's really frustrated that he's not going to be able to continue to play. But it's good news almost that we're seeing some blood here, so it's just indicative, apologies, of a turf burn or a spike.
I also want to say some good sportsmanship there by Matthias. Once he sort of figured out what happens, immediately runs into the dugout to get the first aid before anyone else. And so good by him just to, be like, hey, no bad blood here, nothing wrong here. Let's just make sure you're all right. So good to see that.
I've certainly had my fair share of turf burns. Those elbow, knee areas, it can be brutal. But it looks like he's all right. He's going to continue. We're coming off of what we were mentioning, a spectacular diving catch out in right field by Jackson Kehoe.
I was actually going to mention with the pickoff there, as we noted, the catcher for the Dirt Dogs, not necessarily the best thrower, and that's how you're supposed to make up for it, is by checking on your base runners as often as possible. Try to keep them down instead of your catcher keeping them down. So again, we might see some more mistakes from Junker just because he has to focus on the base runners maybe more than he wants to.
1-1 pitch. Upstairs.
Of course, the question being is Feaster even going to think about running and sliding after already getting burned?
Definitely playing to his mind a little bit, I think. 2-1 pitch is swung on to the second baseman, Fulford, who tags for the out.
Say he missed him, though.
So he missed him. Welcome back here for the top of the fourth inning on the Sports Fan Base Network. Collegeville leading 1-0 after that Cody Clark RBI single. In a much more low-scoring game than these two teams are used to when playing each other. Their last meeting came on July 16th, an 8-6 Collegeville win. So a lot more runs in that game than this one, at least so far. And that was a 5-inning game in which the White Sox scored 7 runs in the first inning. Dirt Dogs fall back with 4 of their own in the second and 2 in the fifth, but that wasn't enough. So that first pitch to Brett Schneider's inside for ball 1. Pitch in there for a called strike. In that contest, Collegeville had 4 players with multi-hit games. Kyle Feaster and Cole Luzins picking up 2 RBIs each. Garrett Matthias had 2 hits. Nathan Kress 3 RBIs in the loss for the Dirt Dogs that day.
2 pitches ago, that was a really nice frame job by Mike Kearns, the catcher. I thought personally that pitch was a wee bit outside, but framed beautifully by Kearns to bring it right back in. Umpire called it a strike.
1-2 pitch on the ground to the shortstop, Lancelotti. He's up with it, fires in time to get a hustling Brett Schneider for the first out.
Yeah, never really liked that double clutch when you don't need it, but again, for Lancelotti it works. I'd say for Kearns, maybe the only thing you could designate maybe a weakness for him is just blocking. He's not necessarily the best blocker, and sometimes if he loses focus, you have a lot of passed balls. So the only thing he needs to watch out for. Otherwise, it seems throwing-wise, catching-wise, he's very good.
So one away here for Kevin Schmidt.
And to that point,
Jackson Kehoe.
Pat Carney's making it really easy for him. There were a few wild pitches in the beginning of this contest, but he's really seemed to dial it in.
Say some of that's just luck. Just a guy, maybe has a bit more spin on one pitch than another. It hits the ground differently, and so then it goes by you as opposed to going right into your chest where you'd expect it. So it's very tough to be a catcher. I say weakness with the most love possible because I could never be a catcher, and I respect them as much as possible.
3-0 count here for Kehoe.
And Kearns defensively, just give him a little bit of that criticism sandwich, praise, criticism, then more praise. He's been having a really nice day defensively, thrown out a man stealing. Offensively, hasn't really gotten active. But today, no glaring faults I've seen.
The 3-1 is outside. Kehoe able to draw the 1-out walk.
I'll say, he only had one opportunity so far, so.
Hey, and he made the most.
So we'll see what'll happen later in this game, but
Yeah, good drawn walk there.
it's definitely something you can do for your pitcher after a long inning, giving up a run, give their pitcher a long inning, give your pitcher a break, let them hydrate, let them refocus, come back better in the next inning.
So one away here. Runner on first for Nathan Kress. First pitch to him. Swung on, hit foul down the first base line.
Kress with 5 home runs on the year. Talk about power. In addition, 4 doubles. So he has been an efficient batter with his 15 hits. He's really been active.
The 0-1. Swung on and missed.
You can see there when he swings, he's swinging for power and power alone.
Now, I was going to say, how come he's not further up in the order? But again, you have 344, 357, 344, 457, 442, and other guys with a lot of power as well. So, it's a tough top of the order to crack. Still, I'm a little surprised to see him just in the 7th spot, maybe move him up a little bit. Just seems like he's someone who can really drive in runners for you.
Yeah, and that might contribute. All that power in the 7th spot contributes to a league-high 144 runs in 24 games for the Dirt Dogs.
The 0-2. Swung on, fouled back. Kress able to stay alive.
Yeah, I think Carney's going to be a bit happy with that one. It looks like a changeup to me, something slow but not dropping too much, and never want to leave that type of stuff high. So I'm sure he's happy to see a foul off of there instead of a strikeout.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. That was not a good 0-2 pitch. That caught a lot more of the plate than he would have liked. As that pitch is into center field for a base hit. Kehoe will round second and put the brakes on. Back-to-back base runners here for the Dirt Dogs.
And there you can really see, ball rockets out of the infield, immediately hits the grass and just slows down so much. So again, having that lip could just mess up fielding mechanics, and at the same time, you can see both for this and for Collegeville, both those runners who got the second thought about maybe going for third just because of how much it slowed it down. So interesting to see who will take that bet.
Quick reaction time there from Carney, too. I thought maybe he might get drilled as that ball came right back at him.
That first pitch on the outside corner for a called strike. Chase full for the batter. Ryan, you kind of gave a bit of a reaction over there.
I personally thought that was again outside, but it looks like this umpire's staying consistent. If you're on that outside edge, he's going to give you the strike.
As that pitch is on the ground to the shortstop, Lancelotti. Tag second for one. On to first for the double play.
And a great pick there by the first baseman. I say that ball was really in the dirt. That's Clark. Ball very much, I guess not in the dirt, in the black little beads there, but say smart move by Lancelotti, just tagging second himself, getting the throw. He has a better angle, but again, a little bit wide.
Yeah,
So.
that's a killer there for the Dirt Dogs, too. They definitely were threatening runners. First and second, 1 out.
Yeah, it's rare this game that they have a runner in scoring position with less than 2 outs. So you would have thought they would have loved to take advantage of that. Obviously, it goes without saying a double play is the last thing you want to see. But a nice play from the shortstop, Lancelotti.
Yeah, and that's huge for Pat Carney, able to get out of that inning unscathed.
And I
You
know
know, for as much trouble as he's run into, especially in those first 2 frames, he's gone 4 scoreless so far, so he's definitely doing his job here in this semifinal matchup.
Yeah, and I know I've commented on a couple of pitches I thought were strikes or thought were balls that were called strikes, but this umpire is staying consistent with his zone, which I think is really the only thing that matters. If his zone's a little different than mine, so be it, but he's staying consistent on those outside pitches, so I'd love to see Junker adjust to that. Carney's already kind of been exploiting that, as we saw there in the top of the 4th.
Say, and not sure if our cameras picked it up, but someone on Collegeville. Oh, that is Feaster.
Kyle Feaster had a long sort of animated discussion with the home plate umpire there. I'm not sure exactly what he could be talking about, could be complaining about, but it was a lot of kind of shrugs and kind of palms up motions. He looked like he was questioning or pressing the home plate umpire about something. Not sure what that was about.
I don't even know if it was necessarily pressing him. He first was actually talking to their dog pitcher, Ben Junker. He talked to Junker first. It seemed like maybe they were just chatting about, what had happened last inning. And so I think that's sort of the same idea he gave the home plate umpire. Home plate umpire probably knew even less. And so, he was talking about it to Junker. So home plate's like, oh, I got time. Let me ask him. And so that was about.
That pitch to Mike Hutchinson on the outside corner. That'll run the count to 0-2.
Junker doing a nice job of finding that outside edge.
The 0-2 fouled off. So an important at-bat here in this game. Mike Hutchinson, 15 hits to go along with a team-leading 15 walks on the season. He does a great job getting on base. So important at-bat here for Junker. The 0-2 on the ground to the shortstop, Levin. Fumbles for a second, fires in time to get Hutchinson.
Spectacular play by Levin there. You said it. He fumbled a little bit. He staggered when he was fielding that ball, but just rips it over the first base to Matthias just in the nick of time. Tyson, what do you
close.
think?
I thought he was safe personally. I thought the foot hit first at the same time.
Gonna give it
Great
to the
play.
runner.
Great play by the shortstop there. So nothing you can argue with that.
So one away here for Cole Luzens. That pitch way inside, and he's frustrated with himself. He didn't let it hit him. That was an off-speed pitch that ran way inside. Luzens jumping out of the way.
Well, I know today you have to at least show a little effort to get away from it. So as much as he probably did want it to hit him just because, if I'm going to get hit by something, let me get hit by something thrown a little softer. Not sure what the ruling there would be for the umpire because you do have to move at least a little bit out of the way.
1-1 pitch. Skied. Third base line. Crests over. He's going to have room, and he's able to make the catch for out number 2.
Yeah, I don't want to call it luck, but very convenient that that ball went over into the shade there. Made his life a whole lot easier. We'll take a look at the replay here.
Well, at the same time, he already has his sunglasses on, so if anything, it might have actually been darker than he would want as opposed to dealing with the sun. So
2 away here for Mark McCouch. First pitch fouled off down the right field line.
just thinking another reason why Feaster's sort of lead off from first might have been shorter than we expected just because Sun's right with the pitcher. So it'll be hard to see pickoff moves on top of getting that burn.
Junker into the windup, the 1-1. Inside.
Couch, who struck out in his last at bat. He struck out looking on an outside edge call. Certainly looking for redemption here. 2-1. Way up and in.
I mean, if you can include his last game, that'd be 3 strikeouts and 4 at bats. So certainly not. If you're going to get out, that is the last way you want to get out. So definitely wants to turn it around here, make some contact somewhere.
The 3-1 is fouled off of his foot, it looks like. Hobbles out of the batter's box in pain.
Fine enough. Obviously, clearly, it does hurt him here. Not saying that. However, some guys, it will foul off the body, not hurt that much. And if that's the case, umpire can't see it. He might just think it's a fair ball. So it is good. If you feel the ball hit you off a foul ball, it is good to do that just so you can emphasize, hey, the ball hit me. So then you can get that timeout call instead of getting out in a really dumb way.
Full count, the 3-2 pitch. Fouled back. Sort of a defensive swing there from McCouch. He's going to ask for time.
That ball rocketed back into our press box here. But as you said, good defensive swing there, because that would have, I believe, just clipped the upper border of the strike zone.
We go again, the 3-2. Swung on and missed for strike 3.
And you can see the frustration there. Realize he didn't really like that pitch after swinging at it. And, of course, when you strike out 4 times in 5 at-bats, you're just going to be extra frustrated.
So we see here on the replay, able to get McCouch swinging.
It looked like he didn't fully commit to that swing, but then realized a second too late it might have been a requirement.
So 1-2-3, bottom of the 4th for Ben Junker. We will go to the 5th inning on the Sports Fan Base Network. Collegeville leading 1-0.
Hi, I'm Tommy Green, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. When I was in high school, it was very important to me to show scouts what I could do. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you're a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866.
Welcome back to the Perky League on the Sports Fan Base Network. We're seeing Carney still on the mound as we head into 5. This inning was where he got pulled in his last game. So we're looking to make it a little bit further. We're seeing some bullpen activity for Collegeville, but no one in there at the moment.
So you're doing well so far. Only 59 pitches on our pitch count up here, so could definitely continue and go this whole game if he really needed to, and certainly if you're Collegeville, that it's not a bad idea.
That ball is fouled high and behind.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
definitely a good point, Tyson. If you're able to get 5, 6, maybe even 7 innings in these 7-inning games out of your starter in a semifinal, that sets up your entire rotation, your entire bullpen for the World Series, obviously, next week. You know, the final series for this Perky League. So
Levin rockets one down the gap in the center, and he will head to first base. Relatively low effort running there. Nice piece of hitting for Levin.
I mean, at this level, it's not like you're really going to be able to stretch that out into a double, so certainly once you know it's going to go through the infield, which you probably saw off the bat with a little basically chest high from the pitcher, yeah, you can just take it easy.
Back to the top of the lineup as pickoff attempt at first base is unsuccessful on Levin. We see Sam Junker, center fielder. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Levin's going for second. He's going to get there safely as that pitch, or that toss, falls behind into center field.
Not quite sure Levin saw it, and I'm not quite sure even if he did, he would have been able to advance to third. But nevertheless, huge stolen base there in this game for the Dirt Dogs.
I think the only way he could have advanced to third, if he got up right away, some guys, especially when they're very safe, they can just sort of do a pop-up slide. If he got up immediately, maybe. But again, you don't need to risk it right now, especially with no outs.
And I thought that throw was all right, just McCouch was unable to corral it. Pitch a strike to Junker.
So maybe
Or
a
ball,
little,
I apologize.
maybe a little bit off the bag for Lancelotti or second baseman than McCouch, but yeah, you can sort of go either way with that one.
That ball is chipped foul. So we'll head to 1 and 2. No outs, man, in scoring position. That man is Levin.
But we've seen Carney. I mean, he's gone out of this 3 times, I think, in this game of only 4 innings. So see if the Dirt Dogs can finally capitalize.
Ball swung on and fouled. Tipped over the shoulder of Kearns.
And while I have the time here, got to say the numbers for the Dirt Dogs, very bizarre for any sport. I mean, 97, 71, 51. I've never seen a team with more rogue numbers than
I've never
than
seen
this.
a team without one single-digit number. Usually there's at least half the team is a single-digit number. Those are the most coveted numbers. But not here on the Philadelphia Dirt Dogs, as this pitch is high. See, 2 and 2 now for Junker.
Just going to say the most normal number that I'm looking at might be Kehoe, number 37, little Odubel Herrera action.
Ball is chipped to the shortstop. Going to head to third. That ball is not recovered nicely. Levin's going to head home. Levin's going to be safe. This game is tied at 1. And additionally, Junker scurries over to second base. No outs on the play. 1 run scored. Man remains at second base.
Again, we saw something similar in the last game where they're in these close plays at third, and even though the throw isn't terrible, it's just tough in those tense situations to get that catch. I mean, he gets that. That's a perfect tag.
Definitely. The ball definitely beat Levin to third base.
It looked like he was thinking about the tag before he thought about the catch. That's Jensen over there at third. Nice aware base running additionally by Levin to understand that ball is loose. I'm going to hop right up and I'm going to go.
And great base running by Junker.
Yep.
Because obviously that was basically going to be a single. I was about to say sinker, and then I messed myself up. A single.
That ball is hit down the left field line. It looks like it's going to be foul.
You know, it's definitely foul. But yeah, going to be a single, and then seeing, all right, they're focused away from me. Take as many bases as you can. That's what you got to do, especially in semifinal games like this. Take what you can get anywhere.
I got to say that last batted ball there, a couple more feet to the right, and that was trouble for Collegeville. That would have been a 2-1 game and some extra bases for Schmidt.
Maybe Hutchinson might be there, but definitely would have been a tough ball.
Here's the pitch. Right down the middle, 0-2.
You know, one thing I like, Carney faking the pick off the second. A lot of people think on that full jump spin move, you have to throw. You don't have to throw on any pick off the second. Only pick offs the first. You have to throw.
This time he chooses to throw. These Collegeville players have been struggling to see the ball in on all their tag attempts. It's definitely a critical piece of the game that could be that has been hugely impactful in this 5th inning. No outs, 0-2. Schmidt's waiting for the pitch from Carney. Junker on second. Swung on and hit. Center field gap. Junker's going to head to third and hold up there. Now we've got runners on the corners.
And a lot of people are thinking, why didn't Junker run sooner? But obviously, with a line drive, so many guys close, you have to keep it safe. You got to make sure the ball gets down. So smart base running from him there, even though, yeah, if he went off the bat, probably would have scored.
Yep. And I think in this situation, too, worst case scenario for the Dirt Dogs is what just happened. They've got first and third now, still nobody out. If you're Junker there on second base, the last thing you want to do is make a decision that you're uncertain of and possibly end up being doubled up, which would be a backbreaker. So
Absolutely.
nice, conservative, smart base running there from Junker, and the Dirt Dogs are firing on all cylinders right now.
And I got the big dog
Yeah,
coming up as well.
You said worst case scenario, especially with Garrett Mathias stepping up to the plate. We mentioned it earlier. He's batting .442, has a .571 on base percentage. Nightmare scenario here for Carney. Here's the pitch. Inside pitch is a called strike. Mathias having a couple of words with the umpire.
I think Mathias, maybe more words with himself, clearly looking for a fastball, saw the curve, knew it was a strike. That's sort of the look that you'd be like, oh, man, that would have been good to hit.
This time he swings and he finds a gap. One run's going to score. Man headed to second. Runners remain on the corner. Still no outs.
And still no bullpen activity for Collegeville, at least nothing that we can see from here. And again, this was sort of the worry we had coming into this game. You have a guy who pitches to hit, pitches for weak contact, but you have a team who is explosive offensively, so you have to worry about maybe once he gets tired, he's going to leave some stuff over the plate, and these guys, they're definitely going to capitalize on it.
And we saw a little bit earlier the bullpen activity that we thought we saw was Chase Fisher. And the last game this crew here called, here's the pitch, swung on and hit into the gap, fielded nicely by the shortstop over to first in time. Looks like he got two there.
They absolutely did get two. Almost wonder, was there any time to go home? I imagine it would have been tough, but I thought maybe the ball was hit hard enough.
I mean, that was very similar, Lancelotti, to the double play we had earlier, where it takes him into the gap, into the second base bag. He's able to just quickly tag it for one on to first for two. However, another run scores for the Dirt Dogs.
So maybe the only difference is throw was on the other side of first base, the right side instead of the left.
A pitch from Carney way outside, but it's got to feel good to get two down that quickly. So now the bases are cleared for it seems like the first time this inning. That ball is hit, however, and it's going to drop in. Misjudged by Feaster. So we'll see a double here, sliding safely into second.
Yeah, very
That's
odd.
Brett Schneider.
Very odd bounce. Really, again, going towards the right field line. Bounces to our left. Feaster's right. Pretty hard out of nowhere. And so definitely understand how Feaster could not bring that one in. Unfortunate that it now ends up as a double instead of a single for the Dirt Dogs.
Yeah, it was a bit of a misplay by Feaster, but also just a funky hop off the grass. It completely caught him off guard. And it's a tough break for the White Sox. Brett Schneider running hard, able to leg it out into a double.
I think you can see on the replay he actually got a little bit under it. And so he had more spin than maybe would have thought, which makes sense. It was a slower sort of line drive than we've seen from the Dirt Dogs all day, but still landed. And so makes sense that maybe that spin was what caused that jump to our left, Feaster's right.
So now Jackson Kehoe, after that mound visit from Kearns, awaits the pitch with Brett Schneider on second. That first pitch down the Broad Street middle, but just a little bit low.
I was going to say, very surprised. That was not called a strike. It looked good from up here.
1-0 pitch is hit straight to the third baseman. He's going to head over to first, successfully get the out.
I like the creative base running there by Brett Schneider, maybe jumping a little bit, not to fully interfere, but just to maybe distract Jensen and make it just a little bit harder to throw the ball accurately.
Yeah, nice routine play there from Jensen. Nice strong throw behind the bag at third. You got to put a lot on that throw to get any runner with any speed.
Yeah, so we're seeing some bullpen activity now, and it appears to be Chase Fisher, number 14 for Collegeville. But we were starting to mention it before some more runs scored. Chase Fisher did not have the best day. The most recent game we called and we saw him, he was pulled within the same inning after walking a couple of guys, letting up a few earned runs.
So hopefully not bad luck for him.
Yeah, it was at this same ballpark. Got to flush those bad memories. Do you imagine, Tyson, that that's going to be the end for Carney?
I do think so. I mean, pitch count 78, so
Would only need a few days rest as opposed to sort of the full 5 days to a week you get if you get over 90. And at the same time, the batting lineup, they've seen you enough. They sort of know what he's going to throw, and you sort of saw they were really sitting on the fastball. So you might as well go get another guy, give him something different, and hopefully Fisher will get through it.
Yeah, and Ryan, what do we think about Ben Junker? Should he remain in the game? Obviously, there's no bullpen activity here, but he's been pitching nicely, only letting up 1 earned run.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a reason to pull him. I think he's done extremely well. Considering, it's his 7th appearance, only his 2nd start of the season. So very nice job coming in a big spot in a semifinal game, only making your 2nd start. And, I mean, right now he's through 4 innings, only giving up the 1 run and the 2 hits. So to answer your question, I think I like it from the Dirt Dogs. Just keep going with what you have. Trust that number 1 ranked offense who just kind of, wouldn't say exploded there in that 5th inning, but definitely got back to their own ways.
Yeah, the gears definitely started to turn there for the Dirt Dogs. First 3 pitches of this frame have been balls.
I still think for Collegeville, they haven't necessarily connected that well on a lot of these pitches. It's been a lot of sort of self-inflicted wounds. And so you hope, okay, if you can just dial it in, another inning or 2, not really give anything up, not really giving anything up from hits. So as long as he doesn't walk a bunch of guys, should be fine.
Well, not a great start there, as a 4-pitch walk to Feaster sends Austin Edgett to the plate. Edgett's been quiet today, but batting in the 2 spot, he's a dangerous weapon. So you just know Collegeville is waiting for him to come alive. Here's the pitch from Junker. Called strike.
Yeah, and another thing to kind of keep our eyes out for in this inning, 3rd time around in the lineup for Collegeville. That's usually, as the old saying goes, that 3rd time is when you can really get to a starter. And we just saw that with the Dirt Dogs in the top of the 5th inning, 3rd time around for them.
Feaster's going to go. He's going to slide in 2 seconds safely. He didn't need to slide as that ball ricocheted past Schmidt.
You almost wonder if somehow he turned in and he knew that was pass ball. Would he try to see if he could take 3rd just to get something back here? But I understand strategically that might not be the best idea.
And we talked about it a couple of plays ago on the Dirt Dog end. Looking for a little slide and pop. It looked like Feaster did that, but he made the decision not to send it to 3rd. So now load off for Edgett as he's got a man in scoring position. The 2-1 count, no outs. Awaiting the pitch from Junker. Edgett lets that one fly outside. So, Ryan, are you seeing anything here from Ben Junker that might give the Collegeville White Sox an advantage hitting, or is he just a pure pitcher?
I think Collegeville definitely has an advantage right now as we see this 3-1 pitch. As I said, 3rd time through the lineup. And a nice deke by Feaster there.
He's got him. Disagreements from the Collegeville side. We'll take a look at the replay to verify.
Guys, I cannot believe he was just called out here. That was, at least in my opinion, Edgett seemed to have really easily beat that out.
Yeah, that seems like Edgett got there first. And again, sort of seeing some good creative base running here with Feaster on 2nd. Probably knew, okay, I can't run here, but tried to get in the way.
Headed to 3rd, and sliding safely is Feaster. Feaster, the speed demon. The sliced up arm successfully makes it to 3rd.
I mean, this is what you learn in college. If you get 2 you time him up correctly and you get those 2 slides before you start running, you just got to go. You're never going to get a better jump from second to third. You just have to take it, and that's exactly what he did there.
So with Lancelotti up to bat, he's waiting. Nice frame job there from Schmidt to get a called strike.
Huge spot here for Collegeville. If you're the Feaster 90 feet away, you got to get him in this 5th inning. Running out of options as we get later into this ball game. Running out of chances, I should say.
If you're the Collegeville coach, Ryan, what are your coaching points to Joey Lancelotti as he enters this batter's box?
As we see this pitch here.
Chips it down to the third base line. No coaching points needed. Run will score. Lancelotti out at first.
Yeah, my answer was going to be, either hit something soft enough like right there where Feaster doesn't really have a problem scoring, or really anything deep enough to the outfield, anything to the right side on the ground is going to score the run. And albeit that ball to the left side, it was soft enough to where Feaster could read the speed of the ball off the bat and know that there was no chance that Kress would be able to get him. So a nice job there by Lancelotti to ensure that they cut this deficit to 1.
And that's sort of a play that if you're a guy who has some speed, that you sort of get a green light from your third base coach maybe before the start once you get onto third base, and he can say, hey, all right, you see something? Go for it. Go for it aggressively. You sort of saw it there with Feaster. As soon as he saw it was soft, he's like, I'm going to go. I get out.
1-1 to Clark. He swings, fouls it back. Cody Clark batting in the 4 spot for Collegeville. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. The catcher Mike Kearns warming up in the batter's circle. Junker delivers way outside.
See, I think if you're Collegeville, you still should have some patience. I feel like Junker, for as well as he's done to get almost through 5 innings, again, hasn't been that accurate. And so try to wait for your pitch, but unfortunately, that might never come.
Clark ripped that one to Fulford. Fulford with an easy pitch and catch to Matthias. That's going to do it for the 5th inning. Let's take a look at the replay here.
Yeah, ball was hit pretty well by Clark, but routine play for Fulford over there at second base. Plenty of time. Nice easy throw. Clark not really running. And so, yeah, a good job by Junker there to kind of get out relatively unscathed. He gave up the 1 run, but it certainly could have been worse. So, nice job by Junker for sure.
So that's going to do it here for the 5th at Villanova Ballpark. You're watching the Perky League on the Sports Fan Base Network. Stick around for the conclusion.
Hi, I'm Tommy Green, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. When I was in high school, it was very important to me to show scouts what I could do. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you're a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY.
Welcome back here to Villanova Ballpark, where we see the Philadelphia Dirt Dogs have the lead 3-2 here in the top of the 6th. Kress, leadoff batter for the inning. And we see the Dirt Dogs are starting to warm up their pen a little bit. And Benny Wilson is now also warming up for Collegeville. But nonetheless, Carney staying in the game after a tough 5th inning. His first pitch, swing and a miss from Kress.
Yeah, definitely surprised Carney's still out here. I wonder if they're going to see if he can try to get maybe a quick out or two and then go to the bullpen for either Fisher or Wilson. But we'll see if he's able to bounce back from that rough 5th inning.
That ball ripped foul down the first base line. Tyson, we saw both of those guys, Wilson and Fisher, in the previous game. Based on that, who do you think we should go, or who do you think Collegeville should go to?
I'd go with Wilson. I mean, maybe, if the game was out of hand or if the game was so in hand you're not worried, I'd go to Fisher. But last time we saw him, he really couldn't find the zone. I think gave up a couple of runs. So I'd go with Wilson. Solid pitcher. At the same time, it's hard to say only because I don't know how many times they might have seen Wilson, which is, again, very big deal when you're trying to figure out sort of bullpen stuff. So, again, if I had to say I trust one guy more than the other, I'd go with Wilson right now.
A 1-2 count now for the lefty Kress. Carney's looking to get one here in the top of the 6th. Kress awaits. He's going to let that one go outside. Ball 2.
I imagine also for the White Sox that, again, this is the bottom of the order for Dirt Dogs. Not a bad bottom of the order by any means, nothing free, but you hope, okay, if he gets 3 guys here, you save again an inning for an arm.
And Kress is punched out. Goes down swinging there. So a nice first out there for Carney.
Yeah, and I
we'll
want to
see.
say that it's number 37, Jackson Kehoe, who's warming up in the bullpen. He just went down and got that foul ball from Kress down the right field line. I was able to see his number finally.
Yeah, we got confirmation from one of our producers, Kevin Conley. It is, in fact, number 37, Kehoe. So we'll see what they do if Kehoe decides to take the mound with
Obviously.
him out in right field.
Yeah, obviously made that spectacular catch earlier out in right field. They're going to have to obviously make a substitution. We'll see what they do with that.
Fulford shoots that one high. It's foul down the right field line, but making the catch is Feaster.
And saying that play might look easy, but especially with him catching that basically right on that warning track, that's sort of where, as an outfielder, that starts getting in your head of, I might hit the wall, I might hit the wall, I might hit the wall, and it's so easy to be messed up. You see it all the time in the majors where, yeah, could they catch the ball on the wall? Sure, but I would rather drop it, give up a double, than injure myself running into it there. So great play by Feaster.
And now we see Levin, who started the onslaught. He shoots a ball back right into our press box. None of us flinched, of course.
No.
We're professionals.
I have to say, I'm also not surprised at, let's say, is that Levin? Who's the right fielder? I apologize. Of course, Kehoe, being the right fielder and a pitcher. Again, right field is one of those places where you want a really strong arm. So putting a pitcher out there, not a bad idea as long as he can hit, and certainly he can. So why not do that?
So, Ryan, do you think we see Kehoe coming up in the bottom of the 6th? Or is that just too much to switch around the whole order?
Well, I think it's definitely not too much to switch around the whole order if they're throwing him out into the bullpen, expecting him to be ready to come into this game if need be. I just don't know if you're ready to pull the plug on Ben Junker so easily.
That ball is chip foul.
As he gave up, obviously, that 1 run in the last inning, but he's still done pretty well, and I think has earned himself, at least what we see with Carney here, the chance to go out and, yeah, maybe we play it by 1 batter, 2 batters. If he runs into some trouble early, yeah, we're probably going to go to the bullpen. But in this case scenario with Collegeville, Carney, I would imagine they've allowed him to see these first 2 batters, and he's able to get them out, so they're just going to keep going to him, and I wonder if the Dirt Dogs are going to do the same.
And similar to what Collegeville is doing, Dirt Dogs are going to see Jensen, Kearns, Hutchinson, I believe, in the next inning. So not maybe the strongest part of Collegeville lineup, still a good part. So get something quick, makes sense again, save an inning for a guy.
That ball is hit high. It is fair. Under it is Feaster running forward and making the 3rd out. 3 up, 3 down here in the top of the 6th. So now the age-old question, who are we going to see take the mound?
And I say I like I don't know if our camera's going to catch it here, but I like at the start of the play, Feaster sort of just walking up nonchalantly. And then, of course, the longer that ball's in the air, the more sporadic it gets through the wind. So
it will be Junker who's going to take the mound, but we'll take a quick break here as we head into the bottom of the 6th. Stick around here. You're watching Perky League Baseball on the Sports Fan Base Network.
Hi, I'm Tommy Green, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. When I was in high school, it was very important to me to show scouts what I could do. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you're a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY.
Back to Villanova Ballpark at Plymouth. And Ryan, you had it spot on. Ben Junker takes the mound as his first pitch is a ball a little bit low.
Yeah, so the Dirt Dogs going to keep Junker into the game here, as we saw, obviously, both him go out to the mound and Jackson Kehoe go back out to right field after his bullpen session in the top of the 6th. But we will see how Junker is able to manage these first couple batters of this bottom of the 6th inning.
Definitely not the start that Carney had, as he goes 2-1 through his first 3 pitches. Foul off there.
Well, at the same time for Junker, Carney started his 6th inning with 78 pitches. He starts with 86, and usually 90 plus is where you sort of start thinking, all right, we have to pull him soon. And so, again, maybe his back's more against the wall than Carney, but still a great job by Carney to get to that 92, and still you could see him in the next inning, although I doubt it.
That pitch is hit to shortstop. That's Levin. Levin over to first base, able to corral it is Matthias. So first man down, that was Colin Jensen.
You know, one thing I love with the shortstop there is just that a lot of guys when they throw, they look really smooth. Same way where a lot of guys, sort of running backs, when they run, they can be smooth. He's sort of like Isaiah Pacheco. You know, he throws with his whole body, like with all the anger in his heart, and I just kind of love it as opposed to sort of nonchalant way a lot of shortstops will do things.
Kern's now up to bat. Like that one fouled off of his body. 0-1 the count.
Not a lot of nonchalant word drops in the broadcast tonight. That might have been the 3rd or 4th one.
This is just a nonchalant baseball game.
Yeah, man.
Multiple times by Feaster we saw out and right.
Say, I'm just not feeling very chalant today. I don't know what you want me to do.
So the shadows are starting to cross over here. It could be interesting as there's a lot in the outfield. All of left field is essentially covered. That pitch outside. Center field, it's got shadows all throughout. Right field still completely in the sun. The 2-1 pitch from Junker, swung on and hit over the head of the third baseman. And it's going to drop in the gap.
And like I
for a
said,
single.
Like I said, that's sort of the worst feeling as a pitcher. I knew a guy in college. He's a very, very good pitcher. He had one day where he just got unlucky like that, where, yeah, a guy would throw out his bat. It'd be a blooper between the infield and the outfield. And I talked to him. He was super frustrated. No one was really getting to him. I talked to him like, yeah, it sucks that those bloopers happen. And that's when it finally like he started to feel better because that's the stuff that really gets the guys. If you hit a pitcher at this level, they're going to tip their cap to you. If you get bloopers, then they're going to be upset.
Hutchinson to Chopper. Double play opportunity, one down, but Hutchinson able to run out at first base despite the stretch from Matthias. So we'll take a look at that replay at that attempted double play.
Yeah, the shortstop there, Levin, nice strong throw to second, just not able to get that second out.
I mean, he sort of chopped down, so it's slow and to his left, so it's hard for him to charge when he has to get over so far to make the play first. So I had to sit back, and that was just enough time for Hutchinson to make it.
And Hutchinson is quick. So he is a threat to steal here, especially with Schmidt struggling to throw out stealing men at second.
And I just want to mention here, as we see with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th, I will be absolutely shocked if Collegeville trots out Pat Carney for the 7th inning. I think you absolutely have to get a quick 3 outs as quick as possible, especially with a fresh, strong, new arm. We get into the top of the lineup for the Dirt Dogs. It'll be the 4th time they'll see Carney. And so I got to think Collegeville's either going to go to Fisher or to Wilson for the 7th inning.
You know, CUNY, normally I would agree with you. Hutchinson is a threat, but some coaches really do not like stealing with 2 outs. They like to give the batter a shot, and so wouldn't be surprised if ordinarily, as that might be a little bit wide, ordinarily, yes, Hutchinson would steal here, but with 2 outs, again, might have put up the stop sign and say, hey, give your guy here a chance, and Luzins certainly can do a lot in these sort of situations.
Yeah, Cole Luzins swinging at a 2-1 pitch. Off the mark, 2-2 now, the count with 2 outs. And we saw, you said it, Tyson, a little bit outside on a previous pitch that was called a strike, but Schmidt able to do, as he has all game, a really nice job of framing the ball. That pitch is swung on and hit. It's the center field. Running back is Junker. Ball makes contact with the ground. One base runner will score, and Luzins will hold up at second. So a tie ball game, 3-3.
So a couple things to mention here. First, for Junker, that was his 100th pitch of the day. So certainly up against sort of the clock here in terms of that count. But also, you could just see, 1, how hard that ball was hit, and 2, how it was just slowly curving away from the center fielder. I thought maybe that would go right to him, but as it just went further out, it went further right. And so it just made such a hard play for him. And I thought maybe there Luzins might go to third. But
I was honestly, yeah, that's a good point to end it off. I was surprised Luzins put the brakes on in second there. I thought he pretty easily would have had a triple. But, you know, maybe the circumstances of not knowing where the runner ahead of you is, if you get tagged out for the 3rd out before that runner scores, you don't get the run. So maybe conservative base running just to ensure that they tie this ball game up.
So now we see McCouch, who struggled today and in his previous game, most previous game.
I was going to say, in that situation, usually what you have to do is try to look both ways. Try to watch the base runner in front of you and the fielder, because you can't look at the third base coach anymore, because the third base coach is going to be focused on, all right, I'm sending this guy home, and so you can really misinterpret signals. But at the same time, you get out, ties the ball game, doesn't really do much for you. You stay safe, still in scoring position.
McCouch goes down looking. He is upset with himself. He's talking to himself as he heads back to the dugout. That was the 3rd out of this 6th inning. 3-3 now is the score. We're all tied up as we head into the final.
Yeah, nice breaking ball here from Junker. Kind of fooled McCouch. You could tell he dropped the hands. He wanted to swing the bat. He just couldn't pull the trigger, couldn't adjust to the off speed as quickly as he would have liked. And we saw the frustration there on his face and in his body language.
And that sort of thing that can happen in a slump. It feels like pitchers, when you're hitting your worst, is when they throw the best at you. And that, to me, was one of the better breaking balls today from Junker. And, of course, that's things for McCouch. But, I mean, you got to hit that, or you got to do something there.
Yeah, so if that's going to be the final pitch for Junker, it was certainly a good one. They'll head to the dugout, score 3-3. We're going to the top of the 7th. You're watching the Perky League semifinals on the Sports Fan Base Network.
Hi, I'm Tommy Green, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. When I was in high school, it was very important to me to show scouts what I could do. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you're a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY-EASY.
Welcome back here to Villanova Ballpark at Plymouth. So we're here in the top of the 7th semifinal game. Winner advances. 3-3 is the score, and we're at the top of the lineup for both squads here. Sam Junker stepping in the batter's box now. And we had a pitching change during the break. It's now Benny Wilson over Carney. First pitch from Wilson, right down Maine, called strike. So, Ryan, how has Benny Wilson been contributing thus far this season?
Yeah, he's pitched 23 innings on the year, Ryan, giving up 19 hits, 11 runs, 10 of which were earned. Only walked 7 in those 23 innings. And he struck out 26 for a 3.04 ERA, making his 10th appearance on the season.
Pretty good stats there.
It's a solid pitcher, and also interesting for both teams. Going to have to come in with a similar mindset. You don't want to have Feaster get on immediately, and you definitely don't want to see, of course, Sam Junker here, leading the league in steals. And certainly when you only need 1 run to score, you can imagine Dirt Dogs or Collegeville will take that gamble and have their fast guys steal on you.
Without a doubt, both teams in dangerous positions. So you probably heard the smack of the plexiglass of the press box there.
Well protected here.
Well protected. Benny Wilson has a 2-2 count to Sam Junker.
Actually left a little bit of a mark on the glass here on the bottom left corner here. So
Yeah, I can tell you, Benny Wilson throws some heat, as that is a walk.
Still finding his his legs, his accuracy, but now you can see Kearns sort of putting up the mask, really talking to everyone, and of course communicating with third base pitcher, because last time we were in this situation, Schmidt did, I think, bunt, so they don't have to worry about that one too.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that point. We saw way back in the top of the first inning, first 2 batters of the game, Junker able to get on base, and then first pitch, Kevin Schmidt squaring the bunt, getting it down. I'm very curious as we get a conversation here between McCouch and the umpire over at second base. Not sure what this timeout is about. We got a little bit of a
I believe it was a coaches meeting over there. They were kind of getting Junker on the same page with Schmidt. So do you think that's implying, like, hey, we're going to throw down a bunt now?
I was going to say some sort of squeeze. Also at the same time could be a communication, because most people know that there's a bunt coming. And so maybe you take it off while third baseman's closer, but again, probably a squeeze.
See Jensen at third base. He's on the cutout between the infield. Excuse me, the dirt and the grass. I should say the dirt and the turf.
Or the turf and the turf, the brown painted turf and the green painted turf. As that pitch from Wilson goes outside.
No square to bunt there from Schmidt. I am a little surprised.
But again, that's sort of what I was saying. He bunted last time, and they see how far in everyone is. And so, again, maybe saying don't bunt immediately. Maybe bunt with 1 strike, because if you swing, you hit something good, that's great. If you swing, everyone sees you swing, third baseman backs up, you have a better chance of making sure that junker makes it over. So I think they're trying to be patient, not show their hand immediately.
And I believe it was Tyson Yu who said in the first inning, I don't know if I would have bunted there because you get a new pitcher on a 4-pitch walk. It's kind of what happened in the last. I mean, granted, it was a full count walk. But here, no bunt attempt. He's got a 2-0 count. Make it a 3-0 count. So maybe they're taking your advice from the first inning there, Tyson.
Yeah, and I mean, also at the same time, I would understand bunting more here than the first inning. First inning, let your guys hit, see what's going to happen. You only need 1 run to win this game. And so I more understand, okay, bunt, move them over, especially when you have guys like Matthias, Gorla, Brett Schneider. You have guys who you think you have a batter on second, he's coming in.
A ball contact made. Double play opportunity here for Collegeville. 1 down. Waiting the call. 2 down. That is a critical error. Not what you want for Philly Dirt Dogs.
I say, if I'm Collegeville here, I think you just walk Matthias. He's the biggest danger, I think, on the Dirt Dogs team. Putting him on first base, not really going to do much against you as we watch this great play here.
Yeah, 6-4-3. Lancelotti to McCouch over to Clark. Huge 2 outs there for Collegeville and Benny Wilson, and I kind of made a reaction as that ball was hit on the ground to shortstop. In my opinion, if I'm the Dirt Dogs there, you've already tipped your hand once with Schmidt squaring the bunt. I think you have to do it again there. I think that's a situation where you got to get your runner in scoring position with these big hitters coming up in the 3, 4, 5 spot. So not necessarily a break for Collegeville. They kind of created their own luck. It was a great pitch from Wilson, but I think the Dirt Dogs might have shot themselves in the foot there, not squaring the bunt.
And that's the 3rd double play there for Collegeville. Lancelotti involved in all 3 of them. So he has been having a defensive masterclass. Really bailed Benny Wilson out there. Outside pitch to Matthias, 2-1.
Say, with the bunting, again, I think the turf just makes it so tough because you have to pull so much power off of the pitch to have a shot of course, making it. If we were at a King of Prussia where Valley Forge plays, where they have that sort of deep grass, you can more rely on, all right, that grass is going to break this down, even though then you have to worry, of course, about sort of they have their own lip with that dirt. Yep. Be hard to keep it fair, but.
Here's the 3-1 pitch. Got a piece of it, did Matthias. Here's Lancelotti. Tough throw over to first. Matthias is going to beat it out. Errant throw backed up by Kearns. Matthias is going to hang out at first base. Nice single to keep the frame alive here for the Dirt Dogs.
Yeah, good effort there from Lancelotti. Deep into the 6th hole. That's a really tough play to ask him to make that long throw across the diamond. And a nice job there by Kearns as well to back up first base, because that would have been trouble if he had not.
And again, not the worst case scenario for Collegeville, as again probably the strongest hitter so far this season, or at least one of them, only gets like a bloop single instead of doing significantly more damage, which he's known for doing. So even though you give up that hit there as Benny Wilson, you have to again maybe give a little sigh of relief, like, hey, like, only a single. Wasn't a double, wasn't a triple, as you see some of the outfielders now in no double situation.
Rips that one deep to right field. Back to the fence. Gone! The cleanup hitter puts his team up 2 runs here in the top of the 7th. Benny Wilson certainly feeling the heat now.
That ball was absolutely crushed. Oppo taco for Gorla. Feaster running out of room, slamming into the wall. That ball was way out of here.
Yeah, Feaster had no idea. As you said it, he slammed into the wall thinking he had a couple extra steps to get back. Didn't even see the warning track because he was staring straight into the sky. It was hit so high. Take another look at the replay.
And again, just some impressive power. Opposite field home runs, so difficult. It's just hard for you to sort of turn your hips enough, get good enough contact. So seeing that from Gorla, very impressive. And now Collegeville in a tough position.
Excuse me, that was Joe Gorla. I want to preface that.
Huge piece of hitting for Joe Gorla. He's in the cleanup spot for good reason. Miss Mary Mack, what a hit. Now we're going to see Brett Schneider now with a 2-run lead. Falls down to 2-2 in the count.
An unbelievable spot in this game, too. 2 outs, top of the 7th inning. You know, you don't hit that homer, you go in, and Collegeville has a chance to win it with the tie score, but that pitch hits Brett Schneider. But just an unbelievable clutch homer there from Joe Gorla.
I think you could sort of see the weight get off of the shoulders for the Dirt Dogs as that one swing that Brett Schneider had. I mean, you saw it looked like he was swinging for the fences, and usually that when you're sort of your most relaxed, that's when you're going to see guys sort of flying open, flying out because they're trying to hit the ball hard. So I think even more so, of course, the score most important, but I think also the morale boost that you get from we've taken this lead here top of 7 is just massive.
Here's the pitch from Wilson. Strike called. 5-3 once again is the score. What should Collegeville do about Benny Wilson? Begins the question. Brett Schneider heads to second. Throw, not in time. Certainly close there, but Brett Schneider just able to beat it out.
Yeah, nice strong throw from Kearns there. And a nice pick and apply of the tag by McCouch. Really close play. And it will be a big stolen base as another runner in scoring position for the Dirt Dogs. We'll see if they can add to this 2-run lead.
One thing, when you have those close plays, somehow in the back of your mind, you know when it's going to be close versus when you're going to have
miss. That's going to do it for the top of the 7th. Sorry to cut you off there, Tyson. Please
good.
Continue.
Yeah, you sort of know when it's being a close play. That's one of those times where you sort of saw Brett Schneider, he slid to the outside with his feet. That's one of those times where I'm going to dive with my hands, try to get even further outside just to make the tag a little bit longer. And you sort of saw from that tag it was very long. And even though it could have been an out.
So we'll stay right here in between innings as we see Ben Junker retaking the mound. So he's going for the complete game. Kehoe, believe, is going to head back out to right field.
I got to say, I do like this decision from the Dirt Dogs. I think this might be the same approach as we saw last inning where they're going to give him the first couple of batters and see how he does. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if he runs into a little bit of trouble, you've got guys that are now warm.
Certainly a little bit of relief for Ben Junker, seeing that absolute missile from Joe Gorla.
And I think that's part of why we're seeing him still out right now. I think if this was a closer game, even one less run, I think we would have seen someone come in. But I think sort of what we were alluding to earlier, you have some security, you have some insurance, and now instead of throwing someone else out, tiring out their arm, making them unavailable maybe tomorrow, instead you're going to throw out Junker, who he's already thrown a lot. He's already going to have to take a big break. If he can handle a little bit more and get out of this quickly, then it's just going to be perfect for Dirt Dogs. Although 104 is the pitch count. So
yeah, that's a lot for a young arm. It's a lot for any arm, especially one that's going to see the top of the lineup for the 4th time today. It's Kyle Feaster. He's had some success getting aboard today.
See, this is sort of also the benefit you get when you're on a complete game like this.
Feaster rips that one out. It's going to be a base hit. Oh, it passes by the left fielder. Now Feaster's able to take 2. He's gingerly running into second. And he'll reach there standing.
What I was going to say is sort of the benefit you get after we first watch this error. I mean, he tries to get on again. Maybe a weird bounce from the grass. Maybe there's some bumps up there.
We've already seen one in right field.
Yeah.
Feaster, the one who hit that one, I mean, he was the one out in right field for the first one where it was kind of a funky hop that no one was really expecting. But continue, Tyson.
Yeah, so sort of when you're on a complete game, everyone wants to see you achieve that, sometimes against what might be better strategy-wise. And so I wouldn't be surprised, again, as long as no runs are given up, I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of leeway for Junker. Once in high school, a teammate of mine threw 124 pitches because he was on a complete game against a team that usually beat us pretty consistently, but he was holding them to, I think, 1 run. And so coach said, hey, keep going. You're doing well. And so I think that might be the case here.
Tough start to the frame here as a double is led up. 2-0 the count, make it 2-1. Edgett, last time he was up to bat, it was that somewhat controversial call at first base. Collegeville thought he had beaten it out. The umpire disagreed. Here's Junker's pitch just along the outside edge, 2-2.
And again, good framing there by the catcher, by Schmidt. I thought that one more than the previous strike was a bit outside, but
well, we've seen this umpire all day. He's been giving the outside edges to the pitcher. So something that these batters have to adjust to, especially in the bottom of the 7th, which is the final inning here in the Perky League. That ball is hit into the gap. Edgett's going to get at least one, and runners will hold up on the corners.
And I thank you for the Dirt Dogs. That probably should be Junker's last batter. We're seeing a little bit of action in the bullpen. However, It's not Kehoe because Kehoe's out in right field as we see this replay. Nice piece of hitting there by Edgett, right back up the middle. But, yeah, right on cue to my point. We're going to get a mound visit, and I believe this is going to be the end of Junker's outing.
yeah, I mean, he's walking to the manager, glove off.
He knows it.
Again, he's got 111
Yeah.
in terms of pitches. I mean, at some point, you understand you want to give him the chance, but you got to say, you can't ruin his arm over one game.
And you can't ruin your two-point lead here in the final frame of the game. Although it looks like they're going to keep him out there. How about that?
My goodness.
Wow.
So just a little conversation from the Dirt Dogs coach is all Junker might need.
And what I was going to say is it looked like Junker was almost kind of pleading in a way, too, to maybe give him at least one more batter, give him one more chance to try to make this right and see if they can settle the tension down a little bit. Kind of held the ball in his right hand, was kind of, pleading with his head coach to see if he can continue in this ball game. So we'll see how he's able to do, sort of betting on himself.
That first pitch outside. And Ryan, let me ask you this. Do you think that speaks more to the coach's confidence in Junker or his lack of faith in the bullpen?
I want to say that's is more confidence in Junker and maybe Junker's confidence in himself.
Okay.
Although pitchers can certainly be very stubborn and kind of can always have this mentality where it's like, no, I want to keep throwing. I know I can get this next guy out no matter who it is, no matter how tired I am. But to answer your question, yes, I think he definitely does have faith because, we're talking about a trip to the finals here. This is a big spot in this game and in your season.
So a trip to the finals on the line. Runners on the corners. That ball is popped up high. Mask off for Schmidt. Schmidt's under it. Going to head over to Matthias. Matthias just drops it.
That's huge. I was going to mention another reason why Junker might still be in is because of the situation. First and third, 2 runs up. So if he gets a double play here, you're really close to getting out of this game and winning this game. If they catch that pop fly, that would make it even easier.
Lancelotti certainly no slouch. He is the winning run. He's got 3 homers on the year, looking to make it 4. Swings and rips it down the first base line. 1 run's going to score. Edgett's going to head to third. And he will reach there successfully. So a nice piece of hitting from Joey Lancelotti to bring this game within 1.
And I'm going to go back to this dropped fly ball as we see the replay there. RBI single for Lancelotti, but Matthias dropping that fly ball in foul territory would have been the first out. Runners would have stayed. And it kind of reminds me, I don't remember what year it was. It was a couple years ago. It was the College World Series between, I want to say LSU and Arkansas maybe.
Oh,
or
yeah.
no, I forget what the teams were, but I know Arkansas was on the losing end of it because they've had their fair share of heartbreaks in the College World Series in Omaha. But Arkansas was one fly-out foul territory catch away from winning the College World Series. It might have been against Oregon State now that I think about it. And they weren't able to make the catch. Oregon State walked it off to win Game 2 and then came back and won Game 3 to take the series. And it kind of reminded me of that moment as we see Collegeville prime position to win this game.
Yeah, and that's going to prompt a pitching change here. So that's going to do it for Ben Junker's day. Ended with 4 earned runs allowed. And it looks like Kehoe is going to take his spot. Question's going to be who's going to head out to right field now. I'm not quite sure. I can't see his number, but it looks like they've got their replacement. Believe that's number 8.
Number 8 or number 6. Either way,
I thought it was 6,
Either
too.
way, it's the first single-digit number we've seen.
If it is
Is that Chris
6.
Chapman or?
That'd be Chapman.
They don't have an 8.
So, yep, it's Chris Chapman. You know, my dad is an optometrist, so I do have bad eyes. I'll blame it on that. Not wearing my glasses today.
And again, not surprising going to Kehoe here. I know you had someone else maybe warm up in the bullpen. At the same time, as an outfielder, you're almost always throwing long distance. You're always keeping your arm warm one way or another. I understand that he's sort of standing out there, but as an outfielder, you're used to saying, oh, I'm going up there, got to keep my arm warm, maybe I'll pitch later, to then coming in to
try to clean up a game, so no surprise there.
Man, what an intense situation Kehoe's finding himself in. Tying run at third, winning run at first here in the bottom of the 7th with a trip to the finals on the line here at Villanova Ballpark. So no shortage of drama.
One nice thing if you're Collegeville, Kehoe, he looks somewhat similar to Junker. Maybe he throws a little bit harder, just puts more of his body into it, but still a sidearm guy. And so you sort of imagine, all right, similar fastball, I can get on this, can do well.
And he's going to face off against the cleanup hitter, Cody Clark. Clark hits that first ball over the head of the shortstop. Is it going to get down? Yes, it is. Run's going to score. This game is tied at 5.
And literally saw it there. Clark, I mean, he's been going against a sidearm guy that throws a sort of sinking fastball all day. Sorry, it's a couple miles an hour faster, but nothing new.
And another blooper there. Just hit perfectly, no man's land. Nobody able to make the catch. Long run for Junker in center field.
Now it's the third baseman Jensen up to bat, a right-handed hitter. At second is Lancelotti. That was Edgett who just crossed home. Clark on first. First pitch swung on and hit. It's going to get down. Winning run headed home. And that's going to do it as Joey Lancelotti crosses the plate on a Colin Jensen RBI. Collegeville, you're headed to the Perky League Finals.
Say just a tough play for left field there. We could all see it was curving towards the line. And sort of a desperation dive there. A little confused for the Dirt Dogs having corners in with a man on first and second. I understand no outs, but thought, hey, try to get that double play. But, again, tough way to lose. And
you see the
just
body
perfect
language
hit.
here, the Dirt Dogs players. I mean, it's
can't believe it.
heartbreaking to have that emotional 2-run go-ahead homer from Gorla just to give up 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th without even recording an out.
It's brutal.
To lose that semifinal and a chance to go on to the finals. I want to shout out Brett Schneider. I mean, that's a fantastic effort there out there in left field. Full dive to his right to try to save their season, but unfortunately it just wasn't meant to be for the Dirt Dogs. But credit to Collegeville as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty hard-nosed game for the comeback. Oh, I apologize. This is the first game of a 5-game series, so that's not going to end the season. Still going to give the Dirt Dogs a chance to come back, but certainly a brutal first loss.
I say maybe the only benefit for the Dirt Dogs in this is the fact that Kehoe only had 2 pitches. So you imagine, all right, you can come back, tomorrow and pitch again, as opposed to, Benny Wilson might need a day, and of course, the starting pitchers would both basically be out of the series entirely.
And the heat was a huge factor, but Collegeville able to come out on top, so that's going to do it for us today at Villanova Ballpark. Thanks for watching. On behalf of our commentators, Ryan Straub, Tyson Maddox, our producers, Kevin Conley and Sarah Isley, I'm Ryan Cuney. You've been watching the Sports Fan Base Network. We'll see you next time.